Hello everyone, this is Matt Peters, part of Animatronic Dinosaurs with a review of Finding Dory, the hotly anticipated Disney Pixar movie which is coming 13 years after the original Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo is considered a classic animated movie, to me especially, easily top 5. While I don't consider it as good as Toy Story, I consider it one notch below. So, I went into this movie thinking I was going to get something great, because it's the same creative team from 13 years ago. Now, that's a long time in between a movie. However, I do believe that this story had to be told. Now, it's not necessarily needed for the first, but both together create two great films with characters that you care about on two separate adventures, but coming together. There are parallels, sure. It's not like it's a totally inventive film, but it's still great. And that's why I can't say that it's a classic on its own, because it's nothing entirely blowing your mind new like the first one was, but it's still so well executed with such good characters, a great story, and you really do care about all of them. So let's talk about the cast. Ellen DeGeneres is Dory, with one of the best voice performances I've heard in a long time. She really knows the character, such great energy. I'm not a huge Ellen fan, but like these movies she's amazing in, and she was great. You have Albert Brooks as Marlin back. He was good. He played Marlin, but he wasn't the star. It was Dory. And I just gotta get back to Ellen. She was amazing. Just, you felt all the confusion, because when you played Dory, as you know, like, she has issues, but it's not like she's a victim. She's strong, and she can figure things out, and that's why you love her. And you have some new characters. One is Hank, played by Ed O'Neill, who's hilarious. He's, another side character that helps Dory along the venture. And there's a lot of other ones, too. You got some whales. You have other ones. You're going to see from the beginning with the central storyline. I don't want to give anything away until you see it. But it's a really emotional story. That's the first thing. And it has a lot of history of Dory. Now, the animation is just amazingly beautiful. The score is adventurous, adds a lot of energy to the scene. But it is probably some of the best animation I've ever seen. Like, you think about how they can make the ocean with, like, the fish just so realistic, but it seems that way. And I can't get over how I saw it in IMAX 3D as well, so that probably, if you have the opportunity to see it in that kind of venue, I'd highly suggest it, because it adds so much. A big thing people look for in Disney Pixar movies is if it's a great kids movie or if it's an adult movie that kids enjoy. Like Toy Story, Wall-E, Up, those are adult movies that kids also love. Finding Dory is in the middle, because it's a pure, like, it's her growing up. So for kids, they'll love it. And adults, they'll reminisce about when they were kids. But as an adult yourself, it's not much about your life. However, if you do have kids, you will relate to it, I guarantee. And so that's why I think it's in the middle. Because it's not that complex storyline with messages that go, like, to the moon. Like Wall-E with, like, the Earth, and Up about getting older. But it still can be enjoyed by everyone. And that's why I recommend it to whoever wants to see a great movie. I honestly think you will find something to enjoy. My personal rating is an A minus. And I can see why people will go higher, and I can see why people will go lower. But for me, an A minus is as fair as I can go with this. I highly recommend it. It's one of the best animated movies of the year. I consider it better than Zootopia, just slightly. I find it a little more ambitious, and the way they could pull off a sequel 13 years after the original was very, very impressive. And I think that's good news for coming up. We have Incredibles 2 and Toy Story 4 and Cars 3 to a lesser extent, but all those sequels, you should feel good that they're coming so far after the first ones, because they pulled it off with Finding Dory. And here's just a heads up, if you go see it in theaters, wait for an end credits scene after the credits. It's a short one, but if you like Finding Nemo, you will certainly like the scene. So there you have it, Finding Dory. Great film, great characters, great storyline, great performances. Was it sort of recycled in Finding Nemo? A little bit, but they still made it their own. And Dory is a hero that you can truly get behind and love. And I think this movie's going to open up the doors to kids in this generation. Go back, see Finding Nemo. And there you have it. Pixar pulled it off again. I think they're going to be back on track with some classics since they're going back and revisiting their great characters. So, all right, well, thanks for listening. And this is Matt Peters, Animatronic Dinosaurs, signing off.